Yes, we're going. We're live.
Woo! We made it.
Listen, guys, we made it. We made it. Listen, I can see myself on there. We are live right now. I'm excited. You
Hey,
guys have, yes, we made it. um, you guys are looking at and listening to the Dee Dee Walker live show, and I'm excited because I've got this gentleman that I'm interviewing right now. He's amazing. He's an actor. I've seen him. I've literally seen him act Pimp by Blood. He was in that. You did a phenomenal job on that.
thank you.
And I was like, forever and a day, I've been trying to interview you, and it's like one thing after the other. So I want the audience. I know that you probably can't hear everything I'm saying, so please bear with us. There will be a part two, but the first thing I'm going to start off with is, oh my goodness, when did you decide that you wanted to even start acting?
I've been saying 5 years for like the last 3 years, so it's probably been close to about 6 years ago now. Probably 6.5 years ago. At the job that I work at, I'm a silly dude. I'm a big kid. You know what I'm saying? I've always been doing music, but I had a friend and we were actually just joking around doing karate. I'll admit it. We were doing karate on the elevator, and he was like, "Man, you are so animated. Have you ever thought about acting?" And so I was like, "Acting?" And I've done little plays in church and stuff like that, but I never really considered it. And I don't know why, but when he said it that last time, it was like he planted a seed. And from that point on, I couldn't stop thinking about it. But I was like, I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Where is it to act at? And I don't know, God just kind of ordered my path, and I started doing little plays, and from there I met some people, and then I did a film with Michael Bowie and Saved by the Arts with Kilo and Morgan, Flower Child, and it just kind of kept evolving. I kept meeting people, and I'm up here with you now, thank God.
And you are amazing. I've actually seen a lot of stuff that you've been in. I love the roles that you play and stuff like that. So we're going to dig into all of that in a second. But
Okay.
one of the things that I noticed before we get into, I know I already asked you the question, like what made you start acting, but I noticed that I see on your IMDb that you are writing as well. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
What my writing at this point, probably as far as like a project goes, I did Demons Inside with my a friend of mine named Todd, and that was like the first actual script writing I did, like actual sitting down. He had a scene he brought to me. He asked me what I thought from an actor's perspective, and I just read it and I was like, this is dope as far as the setup. But I was like, yo, I get what you're trying to do, but I think it would be dope if he said this at this point. And he just looked and was like, well, write it then. I was like, I'm not a writer. And he was like, just write it. And I wrote the scene that I was in, you know what I'm saying? And that kind of was really dope. I was like, maybe I could kind of indulge in this aspect and stuff like that. But me and Jay Black, I don't know if you know Jay, but me and Jay Black we had a YouTube show, kind of like Martin's show. And it was comedy, and, yeah, called Black on Black. And we wrote that whole show. We had a whole season that he and I did together. I didn't consider myself a writer at the time because we literally didn't write it down. But what we kind of did was he would get on the phone and say, hey, this happened to me today. And I'd be like, oh, well, this happened. And the conversation turned into the scripts that we would write based off our relationship with each other. And actually we wrote scripts, but we just didn't write them down. We did it like Jay-Z did. We would actually formulate all these scripts in our heads, and when we got on set, we just remembered everything and the structure and the story, and
Mhm.
there it is, Black on Black, a whole season of it.
Wow. I'm gonna tell you what. And I hope that you can hear me because I know I'm breaking up a lot.
I hear you.
Those are the best ones when
Mm-hmm.
you get into, I call it getting into your kid outfit. You get into your kid outfit
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes.
and you just kind of just like So I think that's really to the acting part. Now I know that you have and one of the things, let me pull up your IMDb so I can have this right. We're gonna work it down here. Murder Chose Me. Can you tell me about that?
Oh man, that's it's on the ID channel television show. They do the reenactments of crimes. I was so excited to do that. Went down and did that about a year or so ago, and that was through my agency. And I mean, it was great. You know, I got a little lead role in it and stuff like that. I got to play the Muslim guy at the mosque who discovers the body, and it was great being on set. Not just, I mean, no disrespect to anybody as far as I've done the background roles and the extra roles and stuff like that. So that's always great. But it was cool to actually, you know, have a leading role on a television show and lines and things of that nature. So to be there and get a chance to see how all that work and interact with the director, and you know, it's exciting, but I always look at it from a learning perspective. So that was a great process for me to learn from.
Wow. Okay. And then what about, because you know I'm gonna ask all the questions. What about The Bridge? What was that about? And that was what was that in 2017 or 2020? I'm not sure, but it's called the Bridge, and it looks like Full Circle. Is those two different ones, or?
No, it's The Bridge. That project evolved over like a 3.5 year process. And it's probably the longest project I've ever been on, but it was almost like a course. That's how I look back at it. Like I got that early on when I first started acting, and we took about 3.5 years to do it. So all along the way, I was growing as an actor through that process. So there are scenes that I look at that I know was when we first started. And then there are scenes closer to the end where I was like, the light bulb started to come on, and I really started to understand what acting was. And so I can see the little variances and the little small changes that I was starting to pick up on. And so to me, that was almost like going to school. It was a Brandon Byers shot it. He wrote it. We had a huge cast, and it was just great getting to work with everybody and to learn from everybody. So to me, I always look back at The Bridge. It was fun, but it was like night school for acting. It was, you know, on film. Like I learned through that whole process. So when I watch it now, it's hard for me to just watch it. I always watch and be like, ooh, I could have did that better. And then I look at some of the stuff later, and everybody thinks it's one continual thing. And I'm looking at the older shots like, ooh, I did my thing right there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I love The Bridge. It'll always have a special place with me.
Awesome. And Prayer Never Fails.
I think it's Wesley Walker. I think but I have a friend named Sid. Sid went to film school to do scoring, and I started out, my creative aspect of it started out doing rap. So, and I still do music. So I put out like 9 albums. So during that process, I've met people from all over. And Sid is a guy that I knew. I think he was about to graduate high school when I met him. And he was doing music, and he went to college for film school. And he actually that's one of his first projects, scoring, like after he got out of college. That was one of his first jobs, getting to score that movie. And it had quite a couple of notable actors in it and stuff like that. And he hit me, and I hadn't even started acting then, but he hit me and was like, hey, I want you, the guy that's doing the movie needs a soundtrack, and I know you're a good rapper. And so I got to do 2 songs for the soundtrack. I did the lead song for the whole movie, and then I did a joint for one of the scenes in the movie.
Wow. So in acting, right? So I see that you're like all over the map. You've done a little bit of everything. Is there a role out there that you're like, oh, I gotta play that. I gotta be somebody's dad or uncle or something like that. It's something.
I worked a lot with Nicola Knox. She's a director and actress herself, and she kind of put it in perspective for me. I didn't really think about it that much, but she was like, you're a good character actor. And I was like, oh, well, what does that mean? What are you saying? But she was like, no, it's like you do, you do well with roles. But she was like, when it comes to roles that you kind of have to become somebody else, that seems to be like your niche. And when I thought about it, like a lot of the roles I got at first have been like street roles and thug roles, and totally fine with that. I have no problem because for me, I just like to act. So I never look at it like I'm getting typecast. So I always look at that as I'm working. But for me, as of lately, as I've started to learn, it seems like those other roles are coming where I get to stretch myself, and like Pimp by Blood, you know what I'm saying? That I didn't have a whole bunch of lines, but I got to be somebody else, you know what I'm saying? And it had a couple levels to it. So I'm enjoying that aspect of it. I like being a character actor. I played a ghost in Save the Arts movie that they did with the kids, and I played a ghost. And that was fun because I really got to wild out and cut loose, and I like those roles where I don't have to play. I get to stretch.
I love that. You know what? I remember that when you played the ghost in it, and I've met you like several times before then.
Yes.
But I really got to know you during that time when you were in Save the Arts. Awesome. I love what they are doing with that whole program. I give them like 50 thumbs up.
Yes.
Like I really do.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of it. Speaking about Pimp by Blood, can you tell us a little bit about that, and what was your character, and how was it like playing that character?
Well, Seneca, I this is funny because I was in that role with your mom. So, and she killed it. Seneca is one of my close friends. He's somebody else that has helped me out along the way. He actually taught me how to do fight scenes and more physical scenes because that's his thing, and he's grown as a filmmaker himself. So with that being the case, when he called me and said, "Yo, I got this movie called Pimp by Blood," I was like, "Hey, say no more. I like the title." You know what I'm saying? So when we got there on set, what I love about Seneca is he didn't really have a script, but he knows exactly what he wants. He knows what what you want to say, and then he lets you run with it and create as the actor. So when we got on set and he introduced me to your mom, he was like, "You gonna slap her and you gonna drag out the," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then you were there and you was like, "He gonna do what?" So Pimp My Blood was awesome though. Everybody had such great energy. Doing the interviews with you while you was there, and your mom did such a great job. And the finished product, it was just awesome. I love Pimp My Blood. That's another one of my favorite projects I've been in.
Yeah, I'm gonna when we're done with this interview, and when you go ahead and you share it again, I'm gonna tag that to it so people can actually see that movie. I was very proud of my mom. You did a really good job. You really did a good job. You guys were awesome. So proud of it. So proud of it. So let's talk a little bit about your music, because you did mention it a little bit. When did you start? Because you're a very creative person. You're an actor. You're out there. You're doing music. When did this all start for you?
I've been doing music. Music is kind of just a thing in my family. I've been doing music since I was maybe like 13. And it's just evolved. I've been rapping since then, high school, and my first year of college. This is what messed me up. My first year of college, I went to NC State, and they had a talent show. Me and my guys got in the talent show. It was the freshman talent show. We won the freshman talent show. So the prize was we got to go to a recording studio. So we had a song. It was an R&B group. We had a song, but I wrote the rap for the R&B group. We went in the studio, we laid the song, and that was like a drug. I was like, I don't know if I'm going back to class. And I ain't go back to class. From that time on, I was like, I'm rapping. The studio. I like all of this. So, my parents, they hated rap for a long time because of that. But yeah. So. that was the beginning of my whole really trying to do something creative as a career. So I put out, I learned how to mix, I learned how to engineer. I got my own recording studio. I dabbled a little bit in shooting videos and editing and all that kind of stuff. So I've probably put out, the last album I put out was with my producer friend Watkins the General. But I've been working with a whole slew of producers, putting out like 9 albums over the last couple of years. So yes. And it just kind of evolved into the rap. The rap evolved into the acting, because even if you listen to my music, on every album I tell stories. You know what I'm saying? And then when I did the stories, I would want the videos to be kind of like more like movies. And I didn't realize it then, but now I look back on it and I see how the two have kind of like one thing spring into the other.
Go together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. I love talking to you. So, I mean, like, what's the future plans for you? Are you going to go ahead and write like a movie and score it and act in it? Like, what's your plans?
Right now, my most immediate plan is to be doing this as my 9 to 5. Like, I have a regular job. I still wonder how I have a regular job running around all the time, but I want to be doing this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and make this, you know, how I pay my bills on the regular, which I believe I'm evolving to that point. But that's the most immediate plan. I got a book I started just because it's hard for me as a creative to not indulge in creative things. So I'm gonna finish the book at some point. I'm probably halfway through that, and it's kind of like a Silence of the Lambs thing. And you know, just whatever presents itself that's creative, I'm gonna probably be a part of it. I be on set a lot of times. I'm learned a lot of things from working with, like I said, Michaela Knox and Kilo and Morgan. We just did Plane, so I'm kind of I work with G Davis, and I work on the production side of that. So I'm pulling sound as the sound guy, and I'm learning a lot on that side, which helps my acting. So, you know, I can be a bit annoying on set because they'll be looking at shots, and I'm like, hey, why don't you pan up here and move over there? And they're like, I thought you were just here to pull sound and act. But it's just the evolution. Like, I love being creative, so I'm gonna probably have my hands in a whole bunch of stuff at some point.
Wow. Amazing. So I always ask this question. It is the most simple question, but I think it's the most important question. And I always say that too. It's the most simple question. I think it's an important question. But anyway, what advice can you give people who are going down the road that you're going down? What advice can you give them knowing what you have went through?
The best advice I could ever give somebody, 2 pieces of advice. One, if you love something, learn it. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough to just want to be in something. I usually can delineate between people that I feel like are going to be we're not talking about famous or whatever, but people who are really going to be good at something. I can delineate between the people that want to be good and the people that are going to be good by how knowledgeable they are about this thing that they say that they want to be a part of. So that means whether you have to read books or you have to go on the internet or you have to talk to other people about whatever it is, you have a hunger to learn about it. I don't understand how you can say you want to be a part of something that you have no knowledge of. It just looks cool. Because, you know what I'm saying? There's so many aspects to acting that I thought I knew that I didn't know until I got in it. And I started to learn about method acting and, you know, Sandy Meisner and I'm going to probably mess his name up, Stanislavski, and all of these people, you know what I'm saying? But all your real actors, they know who these people are. You know what I'm saying? And they know what their contribution to acting was, and they know why they're good because of them. So it's hard to say that you want to be a part of something like acting or whatever, and you don't know the foundation of it. You know, and the second thing to me is know what you base success off of. You know what I mean? Because if your idea of success is money and, you know, the cars and the houses and this, that, and the third, there's a small percentage of people that will ever have those things. But success for me at this point is dang, when you give me a script, you trust me with it because you know I take it seriously. You know I take the craft seriously. You know that I love doing what I do. So, like right now, I'm in the success mode because I have people that come to me and trust me with their vision. That's successful to me. And I can probably always build off that. You can give me a house today and I could lose it. But having people that write scripts and shoot movies and stuff can come and say, hey, I want you in my project. They're not just saying, oh, you look good. They're saying, I can trust you with my vision.
Right, right.
To me, that's success. So those are the two things I would say, because money and all that's going to come and go. And you're going to get it. Some people will know what to do with it, some won't. But when people can trust you with their vision and you can add on to their vision, that's a level of success that, you can't buy.
Wow. Wow. You know what? That's amazing. And I love that. That's why I love asking that question, because everybody gives me what is important to them. And each one of you guys have always said something that's just phenomenal. So I want to thank you so much for that. I appreciate that, because that's something that's very inspirational, by the way. It's very inspirational. I want to know, before I let you go, how can people find you so they can check up on your projects and your music and your future projects and all that other jazz?
I mean, the simplest way is, if you know how to spell my name, Jon, not H, JonBlaq. You can Google me, and I'm like, I'll be right there. But IMDb, you can put in JonBlaq. On Instagram, it's just in reverse, Black Jon on Instagram. And Facebook is Jon Blaq. So, awesome. But like I said, if you can't remember any of that, just put in JonBlaq in Google. My face will pop up. All them pages will pop up, and you find whatever you need. My music, my movies, and everything else.
Yeah, and guys, he's telling the truth. It's very easy to find him, because I was kind of like looking him up, like what, and all this other good stuff, and he just like pops right up. So that's another thing too. That's really good. I like the way you did that. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate you. And like I tell all my other guests, I would love for you to come back. Hopefully, COVID, everything, we could do like a sit down interview. That would be awesome.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that'll be nice. That'll be really nice. So I want to thank you guys so much. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Dee Dee Walker Live show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely, if you like what you see, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Share with your friends. Tell other folks. And Mr. Jon Blaq will be coming back to the Dee Dee Walker Live show.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much for having a platform like this to put a spotlight on us. I thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, the pleasure and the honor is always mine. So I want to thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you.
Peace.
I'm trying to end it. It won't end.